What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle. One more again, meant to do a midweek video, and things just kind of didn't work out. But got a couple things we want to talk about today as we have another football NFL Saturday. The Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are set to kick off here in just a minute. So I thought I'm going to slide this little video in just to just for a few minutes. Things we want to talk about. Number one, CeeDee Lamb played so good Saturday that he got him a nice little envelope in his locker, but it ain't what you think. Yeah, and so Cowboys made some roster moves this week. Some of them were question marks. It just gets back to the things I tell you about the Cowboys and their rosters and their mentality and their philosophy about things. We'll talk a little bit about that. And so the Pro Bowl announcements came out, and Cowboys did real well. There's some guys on our team that I thought probably should have gotten a Pro Bowl nod, and they didn't receive one. But we still should be happy with the 7 we got. We'll tell you who those are and the people I thought we probably should have got Pro Bowl selections. The media, I think they're trying to pull a fast one. They're robbing Dak of his proper place for this year's season, what he's accomplished this season. We'll talk a little bit about that. And here, we also want to talk about this upcoming game and what it means and how we need to take this game seriously if we want to be taken seriously by those folks that don't seem to respect us. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, at the end of that, I got my prediction for the game. So we're going to get into that here just a minute. Hang with your boy. We'll be right back with you.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
Once again, this is your boy Uncle Fred back in the house, back in the saddle. One more again with more content. Please hit that like, comment, and subscribe. If you come in, you watch the video, please hit the like button. Just turn on the light switch, because what that does, that directs people to that there's cowboy content over here. And, I don't know what you think about the content I bring. I think it's pretty high quality. Now, I don't come as often as some of these other people. Now, I see my boy Landlord. He can be sometimes dropping 2-3 videos a day. Mark Holmes dropped 4-5 videos a day. I don't know what a full-time job I can ever get to that point where I can do it at that level. But I don't want to oversaturate, because you want to have something different, a different perspective every time, and a different view, different hat fitting me weird here, and a different, just a different look at things every time that you have a video. You don't want to regurgitate the same thing. Not to say nobody else does. I'm just saying that's what. I want to say something, fresh every day, and I don't want to do 10 2-minute videos. I'd rather do one 25-minute video and cover everything, and that way you kind of, we'll do that too. So, but anyway, we're going to just hit on a little bit of that game Saturday, the Cowboys won. We ain't going to talk about the officiating and all that kind of stuff. I just saw on the pregame with Rex Ryan, and they talked to an official, and actually he said that probably should have been an illegal formation on that play also. So whatever. But we won't talk about how well CeeDee Lamb played. CeeDee Lamb with a 13 catches, 227 yards, and a touchdown, and was completely unguardable. He was so good that there was an envelope waiting for him when he got in his locker. Oh, you thought Jerry went ahead and paid him early? Oh, no. Contraire, Monfrere. Nothing like that. No. Nothing like that. No, the league suggested at that time to drug test him. So he got a drug test summons in his locker. So apparently he was playing so well, they said, shoot, we got to get you tested, bro. You actually, these just like you a man playing with little boys, man. You must be taking something you ain't got no business taking. So I just thought that was ultimate player hating, but that's all right, man. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, CD Lamb, okay, had a whale of a game, and that was probably the best game I've seen him play, and you know, and we needed it. We needed every bit of those, every one of those 13 catches, right? Needed every one of them. But anyway, so yeah, he got a little drug test, and I'm assuming he passed it because he's playing Sunday, so he better have passed it, right? But yeah, so yeah, that did happen this week. So this week the Cowboys had a chance to make some moves, and moves they made. Now, I've talked to you many times now, and I will tell you this. Now, before people come at me and say, man, you talk ill about the Cowboys and they moved and stuff and doing stuff. I mean, look, man, ain't a fan in the world of a team that don't have that thinks everything that organization does is hunky dory. All right. Ain't no fan nowhere no fan base like that. So stop trying to hold me to a standard. I'm also a fan of University of Alabama Crimson Tide, who took it on the chin Monday in the CFP semifinals. And you should hear the Alabama fans bemoaning and saying different things and criticizing everything that they did from the play calling, which I did too. No problem. I didn't like that play call, but I got Steeler fans that are friends of mine. A real close friend of mine is a Steeler fan. He's always criticizing, the coaching of Tomlin and organizational things that they've done and whatnot. It's just, you, as a fan, you sort of have license to sort of like, hey, I like it, and I'm going to still root for you. But dang, could you have done this thing right here a little different, maybe, So you always got that. So Cowboys sort of have a thing, right? And I've started to notice it, especially since I've kind of come into this content space that I'm in now, and I've noticed that more and more other content creators have mentioned it, and it made you kind of like, wow, he may be on to something there. But the Cowboys like their own, and it's to a fault, and it's almost to their detriment that they love their own. And they will not take a chance on somebody from the outside of the organization to raise them, to lift them to star status or prominence or anything like that. They just will not do it. I don't know if it's a philosophical thing or, it's like, maybe, we only trust people that have been groomed, drafted, prepared, and grown up in the cowboy culture and understand how blessed and privileged it is to be a cowboy. That sounds like how Jerry would say that. And I like that to a point, but sometimes you're doing your own organization a disservice because you try to make it seem like your players are the only players that are good players, and nothing could be further from the truth. So this particular week, Cowboys made some moves right now. Now we talked about a couple of weeks ago that I didn't like that they cut Rashad Evans. Now I was telling you, Rashad Evans, to me, now not just to me, but to other people in the content space, other people that watch film and watch different things. It ain't just Uncle Fred, right? It basically said that Rashad Evans was the best linebacker on our staff, which we only got one linebacker, and that's Damone Clark. We only got one linebacker. We're going to talk about that here in a second, too. And because of he's a big linebacker. He's a Mike linebacker, which means he's an attack linebacker. That means he's a big dude that goes in there, busts up those tackles and guards and stuff. And a lot of times the weak side linebacker can make the play then because he's cleaned it up. He's one of those dudes that goes in there. He don't look in the hole to see. He busts in the hole and clears out what's in there. And I thought he didn't get enough opportunities, get put in the right amount of favorable opportunities on the field where he could make a difference. And I thought he got put in. And I mentioned in a video a couple of weeks ago where they put him in position where he just made, meager contributions. maybe a third down here, and maybe on special teams and stuff like that, and really not being put in a position where he could actually. Now, I think he made a couple of tackles for loss in that Buffalo game. One of the few people that made a tackle for loss in that game because they gave up 266 yards rushing. But he wasn't one of ours. We didn't draft him. You know, he got drafted by the Titans, and of course, like he went to the Falcons last year. To follow Smith, Alan Smith. I can't remember his name, but the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyway, he followed Arthur Smith. Went to follow him, and whatnot. And so then you hear a lot of Cowboy fans who are like, "Oh man, he wasn't good. And the organization, well, he's not getting a chance to play because he's not better than dude. He's not better than the guy that's playing the safety that's being converted to a linebacker." Okay. So when people say a dude's not good, I just don't like that because that's sort of like character assassination. Because if you look at his stats from last year, Rashad Evans had 160 tackles, including 15 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. And I've been around a while. I ain't never seen a linebacker on our team make them kind of stats. So unless he just completely fell off the wagon, he forgot how to play, got amnesia and forgot he's a linebacker or whatever the case might be. I don't know how you feel like, he just, versus we got a guy like Damone Clark who's still learning how to play linebacker. Okay. So, we know he got released so that they could make other moves. We know so they could bring in Matt Walesko, which I wasn't totally upset with that move because we did need offensive line help because we know that Tyler Smith ended up getting hurt in the Lions game. And we know that, there's some other guys got hurt. That Zach Martin, is frequently, not hurt, but, he's older. So, you kind of want to fortify your offensive line and things of that nature. So, and we know like the week before last when we played the Dolphins, we know that Tyron Smith didn't play because he had his back. So we brought in Chuma Edoga, and we saw what Chuma Edoga did. So, yeah, we need more offensive line help. So I wasn't mad that they brought in Matt Walesko. I was upset that they sacrificed a position that we didn't have enough bodies in that position to sacrifice. You only had 2 linebackers on the staff. Now you got one. You got Damone Clark, and you got Marquise Bell playing linebacker who's really a free safety, 205 pounds. Okay. So this week, there was people to be brought in. And so instead of, which I'm not upset with who they brought in because I feel like, because Tyler Smith got hurt this week. He totally tore his plantar fascia. And so we brought in Lyle Collins. Ooh, remember him? And Damian Wilson. I'm like, Damian Wilson? Didn't he used to play for us? Yeah, we drafted him. Both of these dudes got drafted in the 2015 draft. Damian Wilson got drafted in the 4th round out of Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. And Lyle Collins, undrafted. I guess you undrafted out of LSU, but we know he had that incident where his former girlfriend turned up dead, and so he was a person of interest, and so that turned off all of the other suitors. So he wasn't drafted. So made it for us. We could just swoop in and take him. He played like 6 years for us, had some good days, but ultimately, remember, I've said many times I wasn't a fan of Lyle Collins, and I was happy when he decided to test the free agent market after 21, and we was able to let Terrence Steele take over. And because I thought that Lyle Collins was undisciplined. I thought he was immature. I thought he was not a professional. These things are important to me. It ain't just talent. Because talent, I thought he probably is a better talent than Terrence Steele. Because he's a first-round talent. He's a first-round graded player. But when you show up 30 pounds overweight when the pandemic broke out, and then you trying to get back in shape and you fracture or mislocate your hip and you got to miss the whole season, and then the next season you come and we ready for you to come in and take your spot, and you try to bribe the test taker and you get suspended for 4 or 5 games, dude, you just crazy. You're just silly, man. You're not a professional to me. Okay. And then, like I said, you're not taking care of your weight. You done got suspended for, having substances more than once. That's why they're testing you like that. When you get in the program, you get tested more often than just a random. You get it like once a year or once every couple of years. So I just thought he wasn't a professional. They didn't say he couldn't play, as just saying that you want an adult in the room, right? So he left. He went to Cincinnati, played there for like a year and a half, tore his ACL last year. I was hating to see that. And so he was on the street this year. That they released him about March this year, and they released him. So he was available. Damian Wilson, was drafted him. He played here about 4 seasons, left, went to Kansas City, won him a Super Bowl, then ended up I think he ended up at Minnesota too for a minute, if I'm not mistaken, and ended up at Carolina, and he was like on the couch. So he comes in. He's a big-time linebacker now, but he's had his issues also because he has pulled a gun on somebody at a road rage incident, like one of them assault rifles. He's done that and jumped on people, had himself arrested for that. He's got some things. Hopefully both of these dudes have matured themselves. Now, to his credit, Lyle Collins made a press conference, if you will, and he said that, like, when he came here, I was 21, didn't know nothing, but I thought I did. I realized I know nothing. Now I'm in a position where, I've had some things happen in my life. I've overcome some things in my life. Now I'm in a position where because of the things I have seen, I can, I can help some of these younger players and stuff of that nature. So, and I like to hear that because to me, I'm not one of these people that just love to pile on people when they make mistakes. I like to see when people understand that they made mistakes, understand they were immature, make amends, and try to make their life better, man. And so I like that. If he meant what he said, man, I'm like, man, welcome aboard. Now, what does that mean? Now, how that's upsetting to me is that they made some, because they only had like a couple of positions in the I think they had one position open in the practice squad, and so they released Martavius Bryant. Now that was sort of suspect to me because I was thinking, because Martavius Bryant, of course, he's not one of our guys. We didn't draft this guy. He's a Steeler, a Raider, and wherever else he played, and out of football 5, 6, 7 years, 6 years or whatever. He had some demons of his own, came back, and according to Mike McCarthy, up until like a couple of weeks ago, I'm just so impressed with this young man who's changed his life, and he's done everything we've asked him for. He's such a professional. He does everything. He's got good talent. He's got ability. And then next thing you know, they release him from the practice squad. I was kind of halfway hoping that they would maybe move some guys around and put him on the 53 this week, so you can kind of see what you got against live bullets. And you playing a Washington Commanders team that, maybe they're not all in to play tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a minute. But no, they released him so they could bring on Lyle Collins and Damian Wilson, and they brought in Racey McMath, whoever the heck that is at wide receiver, to the practice squad, and some dude named DeRoderick Thompson, or SaRoderick Thompson, or some unknown nobody who will never see the light of the field. Now, that's problematic to me because out there to be had was one Dalvin Cook. Now, the way this thing worked, and I'm not completely understanding how it all came to fruition, but we know that he got released. Dalvin Cook got released by the New York Jets. Willie T says, Lyle had to learn the hard way that you stay on, to stay on top of your health. Yeah, you got to take care of your health. Yeah, especially, Willie T, when you make your living with your body. You know what I'm saying? When you make a living with your body, sort of like you got to kind of protect what goes in it, what you do with it, and that sort of thing, what positions you put it in, and that kind of thing. Yeah, that is something to be said there. Something to be said there. Appreciate you, Willie T, for contributing to the show. Man. Please hit that like if you are watching and everything. Um, but yeah, they brought these guys in, but Dalvin Cook was there to be had, and the way I understood it, now I got this from uh, Mike Fisher now, so I don't know this for a fact. So when I get information from sources, I like to cite my sources. So anyway, he was saying that the way this thing works with the clearing waivers, that the teams with the worst records have the first opportunity, the first crack at getting some of these veterans. So you would think that one of these bad teams wouldn't have picked up Dalvin Cook for a day or for a week. Why? Because they're not going to the playoffs. And you would think it would go stair step. And so you find out on Thursday, that he got picked up by the Baltimore Ravens. So that I was like, so to me, that was telling me that the Cowboys passed. So when the collection plate went past the Cowboys, they passed. They waved at the collection plate and let it go on to the Ravens, and they put money in. They put money in the plate, and they claimed it. But the way I kind of also read that there was like sort of like an unwritten thing that between him and his agent, that the Baltimore Ravens were the team that he really wanted to go to. So if it ended up that way, I'm not upset. But if it came down and we find out that the Cowboys, because he ain't one of ours, and we don't want and they passed on an opportunity at this guy. We'll think, oh, this guy's washed up. Click on the tape of him last year. Watch that Giants game. I think it was right about first week in December when the games start coming on Saturday. And watch that 67-yard screen pass that he took to the house versus the Giants. You tell me if you think that dude is washed up. I watched that game. You know, they show those games, and, every now and then. They show the historical games and stuff like that because, and little dump off 5-yard pass. He made it, a guy miss and went to the house. Had 5-6 dudes in trail position. They couldn't catch it. But you telling me in a 1 year, this dude lost it all. Just like Rashad Evans. In 1 year, he lost it all. Get out of here with that, man. You say we don't like guys from the outside. We like the guys we can groom, guys that's been in our culture, guys that's been in our locker room, guys that's been in our facility, guys that we can indoctrinate with the cowboy way. Just say that. Instead of saying, he didn't have it, he didn't, don't insult our intelligence. Dalvin Cook can still play. Okay? And Rashad Evans can still play. Okay, so here's the thing, and we're gonna get on to the next point. The Cowboys got to get by this thing where nobody but our guys can feature, because nobody else in the league does that. Okay, nobody else in the league does that. You see the Eagles, they have no problem going getting AJ Brown. He wasn't drafted by them. He was drafted by the Titans. And they had no problems at all making him the star over a guy they drafted. And they went on. And then, just like the Titans did that. The Eagles did that because they drafted Devontae Smith, a number one pick, round draft pick in his own right. Right? But nobody's going to tell me A.J. Brown is better than Devontae Smith. He's not better than Devontae, because he is. Devontae Smith's a good player now. Don't get me wrong. Remember him at Bama, caught one of the most important touchdown passes in the history of the University of Alabama. Always will hold him in high regard, and had one of the best wide receiver seasons in college football history in 2020. Okay, and never will disrespect that dude for that. But he ain't in the league. He ain't become what AJ Brown has become. And so when the Eagles went and got him, they not spamming Devontae Smith and giving crumbs to AJ Brown. They like, hey, AJ Brown's a dude. Now we're gonna give him 125 targets. He's probably gonna catch 90 to 100 catches. Devontae Smith is probably gonna catch about 85 catches. We're gonna target him like 90 times. Okay. Miami Dolphins didn't draft Tyreek Hill. They drafted Jalen Waddle. He's also a number one draft pick, also from the University of Alabama, I might add. And Tyreek Hill, they don't have a problem making Tyreek Hill the star. He's a star of the team, just like AJ Brown is the star of the Eagles. Don't have any problems with that. Okay, why is it that we can't name me the last time an outside guy? You might say Amari Cooper, and he got ran out on a rail too. An outside guy, we became a star here. I'll wait. I'll break my coffee. I'll wait. When the last time somebody we didn't draft, somebody we just picked up, became a star? Somebody we funneled things, funneled catches, funneled carries, funneled tackles to, that they could become, household names or what have you. Name me. And you can say, and I can always think of two people: Amari Cooper and T.O. Now, I know Darren McFadden did some things here and whatnot. He got pulled here from the Raiders. But that's a Jerry thing, because where'd he go to school? University of Arkansas. And he wanted to make a move to draft him back in 2005, 6, somewhere in there, 6, 7, wherever there. And instead of knowing where our draft position, we couldn't get him. So he drafted the next best thing, got his running mate, Felix Jones. So we got to get out of that, because that's going to hurt us because I think it's hurting us right now, because I really feel like, and don't get me wrong, I love the fact that we're spamming CeeDee Lamb. I love it, because CeeDee Lamb is special, man. He's special. All right. All right. But I believe we misusing Brandon Cooks, though. And I know he isn't one of our guys, but Brandon Cooks is a special individual, man. He's a dude that you could actually. I mean, I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill. Don't be saying Uncle Fred said Brandon Cooks is Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're comparable in size, 5'8", 185 pounds. Brandon Cooks still runs a 4.3 or a low 4.4. He's still faster than 85, 90% of the guys in this league. He can still run away from people. And you got to stop running 5-yard digs with him. All right? Because you don't want him to catch too many passes. Or we don't want him to get too much shine. I think there's room in the thing for both of them. I think right now Cooks will have about 75 catches for like 1,000 yards right now. And the touchdowns is good. He got 7 touchdowns. That's about right. But we're not using him. We're just kind of, flinging him out there, and he's such a professional. He don't say nothing. He don't mope. He don't complain. He don't, sulk or none of that, because he's a pro. He's a pro's pro. All right? But he know he's being misused. He ain't even got 50 catches. He got 48 catches. That dude got 1,000 yards every place he's played. Till he comes here. Come on now. So yeah, we got an issue. We've got an issue with that. We kind of do. We kind of got an issue with that, with our guys. And I think, and so how that bothers me as we go into the playoffs is you would have to agree with me. I don't even care if you don't agree. I'm not saying you got to agree with everything Uncle Fred said. I ain't trying to say I know everything, because I don't, right? I know I don't, all right? But I know this. I know there's 2 positions in the NFL that as the playoffs begin, other than your quarterback, right? There's 2 positions on the team that you got to make sure that are solid. Well, offensive line too, but that's any time. Running back. Be quiet. Be quiet. Why is this thing talking to me? Why is this thing talking to me? Why is this thing talking to me? I don't know why it's talking. The thing went crazy on me, people. But anyway, uh, so you gotta kind of It's running back and linebacker. All right. Running back, who the league has decided is the most disposable position in the NFL, which I vehemently, I'm against. Uh, because the Cowboys kind of, gave Tony Pollard his money, gave him $10 million on 1 year, which I thought they should have gave him a multi-year deal with less salary cap implications. 4-year, $26-27 million contract, which is like $6 million a year, $6 million with maybe 8, 10, 12 of it guaranteed, 12 of it guaranteed. You could make it, out to maybe where it only has like a $5-6 million per year cap hit, and then you could do other things. But because you got him saddled with a $10 million cap hit now this year, now you feel like you got to run him in the middle of the field when he's never been an every down back. Okay, he's a scat back. He's a throw it to him out of the backfield kind of back. He's a run to the sidelines or stretch run where the quarterback, as the guy's running to the side, you just kind of pitch it to him or run sweeps and stuff like that. Very seldom do you run him up the middle. Or if you do run him up the middle, you got to do some misdirection and shifting with the offensive line to get the defensive line off script. We're not doing that, and so you got him and you got Rico Dowdle, who's often injured, who's injured now with an ankle. And you don't think you need a running back? And you just put, his landlord calls him little legs, Vaughn on the IR. He's going to miss the rest of the season. So Malik Davis is out of call-ups. All right? His call-up numbers are, you got so many call-ups before you have to release somebody to bring him in, right, off the 53 to bring him in. So he's out of call-up. So basically, you got Tony Pollard and you got an injured Rico Dowdle who's been injured ever since he's been here. You don't think you needed a running back? I'd have been calling Dalvin Cook every day. Hey, man. Hey, come on. Come Dallas. Come to the facility. Come look around. See what you, because God forbid Tony Pollard get hurt. And I'm knocking on everything I can knock on. You got to run the football at some point. You can't throw the ball 50 times a game, all right? But we like our dudes. We'll just go with the battle with the guys we got. Come on, guys. All right? And so, and of course, now in order to bring in some guys, you had to bring in former guys, which I'm all for. Lyle Collins getting a second chance. I'm all for that. But, and it's okay if we want to do business a certain way. Everybody got a business model. But when that business model blows up in your face and it don't work and other teams are using other models, Buffalo Bills didn't draft Stephon Diggs. He's their best receiver, and they funnel the stuff to him, and they don't care about him being a star. Okay? Gabe Davis, they drafted. Not a problem. Okay? Not a problem. But it's a problem with us. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. I don't want to keep on that. So let's talk about this here. After the roster moves, we're going to see how that works. We're going to see how everything goes. Now, I think I heard that Lyle Collins, he's not going to be activated. He'll be activated sometime in the playoffs probably, but he was, because, Tyron Smith, don't practice, and that Zach Martin don't practice, and so somebody was playing guard at practice, and it was Lyle Collins. Shoot, in his press conference, said, shoot, they want me in the fullback? I'll play fullback. So that just lets me know the dude done humbled himself, and I like. There's a team game, and anytime you think you're bigger than the team, you're heading for disaster. So next thing coming up, they had Pro Bowl votes, and the Cowboys. Hey, we got 7 Pro Bowlers, and they are Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin on offense, on defense, Micah Parsons, Let's change that. Uh, yeah, it's like I could spell there for a second. I said Parsons. It's Parsons. I know I'm being petty. Michael Parsons and Deron Bland on defense and special teams. They went with no, not Kavontae Turpin this time. They went with Brian Anger, the punter. And I don't know how many fair catches he didn't had done. And then you can't go wrong with butter. Brandon Aubrey, butter as they call it, because he's smooth like butter, melt like butter, or whatever. He's butter, like butter. He's made every. I think he's 35 for 35, and he's like, he's missed 3 extra points, but whatever. But he's the best kicker in the game. I don't care what nobody says. He's the best kicker kicking right now. And I said that a long time ago, and people laughed at me. He's the best kicker, but I saw it. Your boy seen it. I'm a visionary. But let's pick this apart, because I think there's some other guys we should have got. Because really, I didn't think that Zach Martin had a Pro Bowl season. He got beat a few times. On the run plays, I seen dudes bully him in the middle and go and tackle dudes for loss. I seen him give up a couple of sacks, 2, 3, 4 sacks. I don't know. But that's fine. He got it on reputation. I ain't mad at that. Michael Parsons, what are you going to say? He's one of the best defensive players in the league. If it's not the best, it could be defensive player of the year, right? If he get a holding call every now and then. Give me a break, man. And then and Deron Bland, look, leading the league in interception, got 8 and got 5 return for touchdowns. Man, he's not played as well lately. They haven't really targeted him. He got smoked pretty good last week by Jamison Williams on a 60-yard game. Jamison Williams is fast, man. He gonna beat a lot of people. But he's a starter. And then the snubs, I thought DeMarcus Lawrence was a snub. I thought D-Law's playing great defensive line. Of course, he don't have but like maybe 2 sacks, but the plays that he makes against the run and the tackles for loss that he makes, I wish I had to look that up. But he's in on all those plays. You don't never get outside of him. He really sets the edge like you're supposed to, Micah. If you're gonna play out there, set the edge. Make everything run inside of you. Okay? Never get too encumbered about trying to get a sack that you overrun runs and overrun running backs and overrun other stuff. D-Law sets the edge, and he's the kind of the compass that our defense works off of. And I thought he should have made a Pro Bowl. But he said to himself, "Hey man, I done made Pro Bowls before. I played in Pro Bowls, and my career now is about Pro Bowls and Super Bowls." And said Nick Bosa can get the Pro Bowls, and whatever. And I'm about getting that other one, which meant the Super Bowl. I done been in Pro Bowls, but I thought he played well enough this year to be in the Pro Bowl. I thought Tyron Smith played a Pro Bowl left tackle, and it may be some guy sets out. We know Trent Williams is probably the best left tackle in the game, but I thought Tyron played as well this year. I think up until Saturday night, hadn't given up a sack this year. Okay, when he gets them big mitts on you, you ain't going nowhere. I thought maybe Stephon Gilmore probably could have earned a Pro Bowl spot, because I thought he plays a solid number 2 corner for us, and I thought he could have been a corner. So, but I'm not upset at any of the ones they picked. I thought we could have got 1 or 2 more, but I will say this: I think the media is trying to disrespect or discredit or gloss over the season that Dak Prescott is having. Dak Prescott is throwing 68% completions, 4,237 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, which leads the league, and 7 interceptions. He also leads the league in touchdown to interception rates at 4. 4 touchdown to interception rate. Okay. So all those people that last year giggled and tee-heed because he had 15 interceptions, and only played 11 games, 12 games, or whatever he played, and not taking into account he was playing with substandard skill position players. Hendershot and CD Lamb running routes, cutting the route short. Noah Brown tipping balls in the air. Peyton Hendershot tipping balls in the air for them to get picked. Not taking those things into account, that you really don't have a one good receiver. You got two possibles with Noah Brown and Michael and the remains of Michael Gallup. And the fact that he had thumb surgery on his throwing hand, and had a metal plate inserted surgically into that, and the fact that maybe that might make his throws a little bit off, maybe might have a little bit of touch off of his thumb. You can't throw it without your thumb. If it was a pinky finger or a ring finger, that's one thing. But you can't do nothing without that thumb, that opposable thumb, right? But nobody was willing to give him any grace for that, right? And he just took it. Yeah, I gotta be better. And y'all laughed at him when he said, I won't throw 10 picks this year. I mean, you might think of 10 picks or tipped picks or whatever the case might be. Right now, he's sitting at 8 with one game to play, and lest things go mad wrong tomorrow, I don't see him throwing 2 picks to give him 10. So he was a prophet. He was not going, and he's never been a plus 10 pick guy. He threw 10 the year before, but he threw 37 touchdowns. Okay? The most he usually throws is about 8 to 10. He's not an interception machine. Now that dude up there in Eastern Pennsylvania got about 14 of them things and about 5 fumbles. But we ain't talking. But ain't nobody talking about him, though, are they? People still mad that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Wow, ain't that something? If anybody would have even hinted that would have made the Pro Bowl last year, they'd have got laughed at with the 14 interceptions, and they threw a couple of them in the postseason too. They would have got laughed at, But whatever, man. But I think they're robbing him, because not only are they kind of like this glossing over the fact that he's played the best quarterback, the most consistent quarterback of a season. He had a subpar Buffalo game. Didn't throw a bad percentage. He's still 22 out of 34. That's still like 70, 66, 65, 66%. Wasn't like he was 12 for 40, And in the game against the 49ers, game was already at hand, and he threw 3 picks and whatever. But you take those 2 games, that's half of his picks. That's 4 of the 8. Whatever. And they're, and so really they like, okay, the MVP got to be Lamar. And I'm like, dude, you ain't even mentioning him as MVP material? Not that I care if he get MVP or not, because I'm looking for the other thing. That's a regular season award. I'm looking for postseason stuff. But it's good to be recognized when you done, had a good season. You had a great season. And he's not getting even first team all pro nods, And I think that's sad. I think that's a campaign to this is what we think about this guy, and we're not changing it no matter what he does. He could win the Super Bowl, and he's still that guy that can't get it done. He got lucky. He got fortunate. The Eagles tanked their way into the thing, and he ended up with a spot he shouldn't have been in, or whatever the case might be. But nobody ever says that the Eagles got in because the Eagles beat Daniel Jones and Josh Johnson. It's making facts, man. It's making facts. But I think, and Landlord was talking about, like, said, they robbing Dak. Shout out to Landlord, another Alabama content creator that's doing great things, man. Shout out to Landlord. He's also from Alabama guys, and Crimson Tide guy too. So we all got to stick together. But he said the same thing. He did a whole video on that. Yeah, they robbing my man Dak. They robbing him. They are. Okay. But he's not going to say nothing about it. He said, I'm going to continue to do. He said in the press conference, I ain't saying nothing about it last year because I knew about the interceptions, about what they were saying, what the narrative was, because I know who I was. I knew who I was. And this year he's showing you who he is. All right. So anyhow, we're going to keep an eye on that. They want to make Lamar, which don't get me wrong, I like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is like one of the most special dudes ever played a position of quarterback. He's not playing today, but here's his stats for the year. And like I said, Dak has thrown for 4,237 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Lamar Jackson is thrown for 3,678 yards, which is like 700 yards short of Dak's. 67%. Dak is like 68, 69%. 24 touchdowns, which is 8 fewer than Dak. But he's also ran for 800 yards on the ground and 5 rushing touchdowns. Dak's like 241 yards rushing and 2 rushing touchdowns. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times the MVPs for who's ever playing the best football on the best team. And right now, you'd have to say the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the NFL because they went to Santa Clara and whooped up on the 49ers. And they're 13-3. If they win today with their B team against the Steelers, they'd be 14-3. And so you have to give him his consideration. But I still say you can't just disrespect that he's not even to be mentioned. He's had a good season. And he don't have a running game to speak of. Tony Pollard's got 935 yards and is only averaging like 3.9 yards a carry. 5 touchdowns. Okay, 100-yard game. He's averaging about 60 yards a game. So a lot of the shoulders of what the Cowboys are doing offensively is on Dak's shoulders. And they win tomorrow. They got 12 wins for 3 consecutive seasons. Nobody in the league's done that. Okay? And I understand this is what he does in the playoffs, so we got to do what we got to do there. Let's close this video, but I'm going to talk about, we got a game tomorrow against the Washington. Vosh Lombardi says the Washington Football Wizards, Washington Commanders. And we want to know is Washington tanking? And so what we got to understand as fans that players don't tank. Okay? You're not going to tell me a player is going to intentionally miss a shot or hit the side of the backboard on purpose. He's trying to miss a shot. Or in football, he's going to throw a pass or fumble on purpose or miss the hole on purpose and run into the back of his own runners. Or he's going to drop a pass on purpose, run the wrong route or throw an interception on purpose or, misread the coverage or any of that sort of stuff, or commit a penalty on purpose. No, players don't tank. Organizations tank. And how they do it, it's like what the Washington Commanders are doing today. They came today and they tapped Jonathan Allen on the shoulder. And said, dog, you ain't playing today. Same thing with Kendall Fuller, who's their best corner. Now, ain't you got like a something? He's on IR anyway. Then this other dude, Christian Holmes, a corner, he's on IR. Tariq Castro Fields, another corner, he's on IR. Another dude named Carmen Curl, a safety, questionable, but they think he's been ruled out too. So yeah, and now they was going to go with Jacoby Brissett. But Jacoby Brissett came down with a hamstring injury, so you went back to Sam Howell, who they had just benched last week. And so you actually think Sam Howell's going to miss guys on purpose? No, because Sam Howell is not going to play bad in order to get his replacement selected. See, tomorrow's game is all about 2 versus 5 on both teams. And I'll tell you what that means. Nobody else has said this. I'm the first person to say this. Cowboys with a win tomorrow would secure the number 2 seed in the NFC, which would guarantee them 2 home games that they win, and would say they could go to the NFC Championship game if they win those 2. Would play at Santa Clara provided they win. But it also allows the Washington Commanders to acquire the number 2 seed. So it's the number 2 slot versus the number 2 seed. That's what they have. Versus if we lose tomorrow, the Washington Commanders probably get the number 5 pick, and we get the number 5 seed. It's 2 versus 5. See, everybody wins with a number 2. Okay, we get the number 2 seed. They get the number 2's pick, and they can pick my man Williams, and because who's a DMV native, and because that Washington fans would love to have one of their own become their quarterback, and Josh Harris, and those guys would love to make that, he want to turn the Commanders into the Redskins again. I've heard that thing, and they're trying to drum up that fan base. That's a great fan base. That used to be a great franchise. Okay, I'm just being honest. I just try to be honest with it. Okay, not so much right now. They're kind of a laughing stock right now, but they used to be a great, proud franchise that has 3 Super Bowls in like a 10-year era period. So they're not to be like laughed at on totality, but in a period right now, yeah, they the Washington football Wizards. But everybody wins when the Cowboys win and the Washington lost tomorrow. They get their guy, and we get our slot. Okay, but Sam Howell is not trying to get himself replaced. And Ron Rivera, knowing he's probably not going to be the coach next year, he's not going to just mail it in because he's coaching for his next job. So, and whatever players are in there, they're trying to put good tape on film. Good, so they're not trying to tank, but the organization is by putting younger, just less experienced players in the game. Less experienced players make mistakes. They don't know the playbook as well. They make mistakes. Don't hold on to the football. They make misreads. They throw back balls and don't read the coverage. They fumble. They throw interceptions. They make costly penalties at the most inopportune time. That's what young players do. So by putting young players in there, you're not tanking in totality, but you're putting the team in position where, some things probably could happen because I'm putting guys that don't know what they're doing in the game. Okay. So from the Cowboys' perspective, when we close this video, man, we cannot go up to FedEx Field tomorrow and lay an egg under no stretch of the imagination, because the media will never let us live that down. We cannot go up there and even struggle against them. We have to go up there, beat them like they stole something. And not because, and then of course they can say, oh, y'all beat up on bad teams. Okay, we can't win that. Okay, if you beat up on them, it's like you beat up on bad teams, you dominate bad teams. But if we win by a touchdown, oh, you struggle with that team. So you can't win, right? You can't win. But we cannot go up there and lose that game, or we will get eviscerated by everybody. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, if you go up there and lose that game, I'm done this year. I'm going to watch, and I'll drop my occasional video, but because you can't go up there and lose that game. There's no reason for you to lose that game other than the fact you weren't prepared, you weren't ready, you took them for granted, you stumbled and slept walked into it. I can't roll with you. Okay, I'll watch and I'll root, but I'm you got to prove it back to me that we serious. Because now we got to go on the road in the playoffs. Okay. So yeah, we got to go up there and we got to not leave no doubt, leave nothing to chance tomorrow. Okay. Because if we don't, how will they ever take us seriously ever again? Okay. That's all I'm trying to say. If you go up there and we lay an egg, if we go up there and do what we did last year when we went up there last game of the year and we get beat 26-7, however the game that one ended or whatever, how will they ever take us seriously again? Oh, they 10-0, but you know what's going to happen at the end of the season when the games that matter? They'll never take us seriously again. Dak, they'll never take you seriously again. Michael, they'll never take you seriously again. When they talking about you getting held and whatever, they'll never take you seriously again. CD, they'll never take you seriously again. Okay? So, that being said, we got to go up there and win. So your boy made a prediction, and this is what I predicted. Cowboys go into FedEx Field tomorrow, and they win the game. Cowboys 27, Commanders 14. And if you'll notice, that's exactly how much? 13 points, which is how much? That's the point spread. It's actually 13 points, okay? And we win, and we get that number 2 seed. Now, if we don't do that, lose this game, I'm going to come right back on here tomorrow night, and I'm like, we're goofballs.
One day,
we're goofballs.
The bottles will turn to sippy cups, and they won't quite fit on your shoulders.
How's this thing doing this?
But right here, right now, is just magic.
Everything wants to talk, bro. Unprovoked. This thing may be haunted or whatever. But yeah, 27-14, Dallas wins tomorrow. And if they don't, like I said, we're goofballs to everybody. Okay. The only way we can ever get that respect back if we go on the road and win 3 straight games and win the Super Bowl. Other than that, man, they'll never take us seriously ever again. Ever again. So, Cowboys 27, Commanders 14. Let's go, Cowboys. Let's get it done. Let's get this number 2 seed, and let's make some noise in this playoffs, and let's prove everybody wrong. Okay? That being said, that's all I got. Any more chats? No, I don't see nothing. All right. Like I said, please, anybody watch the video, really want to thank y'all on this gloomy, cold, it is in Alabama at least, Saturday afternoon for joining with me on my video. It wasn't supposed to be this long. Stay tuned here in just a little bit. Me and my homeboy TK will be doing our pick'em show. Of course, one of the games is already en route in production, so won't be able to pick that one. But we'll be on here in a little bit, and we'll do our pick'em show, picking the game for Week 18, which is the last week in the NFL season, man, the regular season. So we'll be picking those, and so stay tuned for that. But like I said, man, please like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience, for I guarantee you will not be disappointed. That's all I got. Please, thank you. God bless. Catch you guys on the next video.